I spent this whole weekend playing Silent Hill 2. 21 years, I think it's been since the last game came out. And I gotta say, I dropped 15 hours this weekend. You know, I had some family stuff to do, but I finished it all in one weekend. And let me tell you, it was the most worth thing I have done this year. I want to talk about some things because, oh my god, after the couple of like remakes that we have gotten in the past like 3 years maybe since like 2022, I'm not gonna lie, this might be the best remake I have played. I'm not gonna even, and keep in mind, I am a big Dead Space fan. Don't get me wrong. And I have played the Final Fantasy VII remake, and you guys know how I felt about that. But I'm not gonna lie, Silent Hill 2 remake, that deserves some awards. I'm not gonna lie, that deserves at least 2 to 3 awards in this year's December Game Awards. Cause man, yo, I'm still like in awe. I wanted to make a video on it. I think what was it, Sunday, which was yesterday, and I couldn't even talk about it because I was like, I need to get my thoughts together. Like I literally have not played a game and felt this way towards something. And I know I keep saying this a lot, but I literally finished Silent Hill 2 and just didn't even want to play another game after. I think I loaded up some Persona, did like 3 levels in Tartarus, and then I was like, yeah, I'm just, nah, I'm good. It's insane how good this game was. But if I have to point out some things, man, I mean, the facial expressions in this game were so human. And when I say human, I'm not saying that they were like so realistic or anything, or like 10 out of 10 perfect. I mean like the way that they used facial expressions to portray how the characters, I guess you could say, react. Like it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It made them look more human than video game, and it honestly, we need to give them some props to that because I've seen some games that have tried to like push the power of video game development to make characters look more realistic, but man, this has got to take the cake with the cherry on top. Also, there was just some moments in this game where James was just interacting with a character and you could see him visibly confused because he would be like he would physically do that. And I don't like, you see a character like I think the most recent one I could talk about that's like that is maybe The Last of Us, but even then, like this one, I mean, like you could see like micro adjustments in this guy's face to how he's reacting to things, and it's so impressive. I can't even get past that. And also too, like throughout the game, you see him develop black circles and bags under his eyes. Like in the beginning of the game, he looked semi normal, but towards like the end of the game, like I noticed that he started to just have heavy bags, like black, red, like it looked irritated, or like he just looked tired. If you know how the game is, like it's just perfect portrayal of like time passing and him experiencing Silent Hill. And even when Maria got spoilers, by the way, this whole video is gonna be spoilers, but when Maria got stabbed in that elevator after getting chased by Pyramid Head, you could see that his face wasn't like, it wasn't sad, it wasn't shocked, it was more like, oh wow, this happened. I am literally just crumbling. Because think about it. Maria is technically a portrayal of his wife. So to see his wife die twice, for him to go through that experience again, like what are you going to do? You could bawl in tears? No, you're just going to fill with dread. You're going to be depressed and just, damn, I let it happen again. Like it's little things like that that I really have to point out. Another thing is, man, Pyramid Head's design in this game, not gonna lie, this has to be the best adaptation of Pyramid Head I have ever seen. And keep in mind, I thought the movie Pyramid Head was really good, but bro, like I don't know what it was, this one had to have infinite aura anytime he was in this game, like present. Because when he first appeared, well, at least when we first saw him, I think, what was it? I can't remember exactly where it was, either the apartment room or it was through that fenced gate. But the first time we see him, I think it is, when he's on the other side of the gate. Lights are dark as fuck. There's nothing. But on top of Pyramid Head is this kind of like red lighting. Bro, Maximum aura points for that. That was so cool. And then like you would go through the door, come back out, and he was gone. It was amazing. I loved it. And like also speaking of other characters, like more than just Pyramid Head, the way they portrayed every character's like traumas and like just issues that they have with each other, it was amazing. Like specifically with Angela, because if you don't know Angela's story, she was, you know, sexually abused and stuff like that. Bro, the way you could just tell something was wrong with her the first moment you met her. I mean, given I already knew their backstories and stuff like that, but to watch her talk to James for the first time and mention that she has to go find her mama. First of all, an adult saying mama, that it has to turn on some lights up in here, because you know, usually you would say, yeah, my mom, my parents, stuff like that. You don't say mama. That's something that like a child would do. And the fact that her trauma is so within her, still there, it's so tragic that she still has the mind of like a child. And you could see that develop like in her later appearances when she's literally like scared of James, like physically scared of him, because when he reaches for her and stuff like that, she's like flinching a little bit, she's like backing up. And then I think one of her last appearances, I think right before the end, her final appearance, when she's just like, yeah, you'll just take advantage of me again, or you can at least just ask, like stuff like that. It's really insane. And also with Eddie, I feel like they did a better job in the remake than they did in the original with his, like, I guess you could say his speech and how his character talked, because you could just tell something was wrong with him, you know, either from the very second you met him or the second time you met him. Because at first it could be excusable, you know, he saw a guy in the refrigerator who was getting chased, so he's kind of like out of the loop, but he stays out of the loop the whole time, and he has like a slowed speech pattern, you know. The way he talks isn't how James talks to other characters and how Maria talks to other characters, especially when he joked about killing the guy on the lunch table. You could tell something was just very wrong with him. Then again, that was right before his boss fight. Another thing I have to talk about with this game is the enemies. Bro, the mannequins. The mannequins. If you don't know what the mannequins are, it's this like creature that has 4 legs. 2 of them are going to be for walking, and the other 2 are going to be for arms. Now, I'm going to get a picture of how they look like and what they do. Let me tell you, these things were on timing this whole video game. I mean, like, these were the scariest part of this video game, because I would literally walk into a room, right? Hear nothing. It would be dead silent. No ambience, you know, no wind, no music, nothing. You know, you just walk into a room. All of a sudden, you walk into the kitchen. This thing explodes out of, like, from under the kitchen table and speed blitzes you.
Oh shit, I didn't see it at all. Holy fuck. She was standing there in the corner.
I don't know, I can't count how many times I got jump scared from that, because that was genuinely frightening. The other thing I want to talk about is the nurses in this game. Now, the nurses aren't an iconic enemy in the horror franchise. Everybody knows what the nurses from Silent Hill looks like. Either if it's your Hear Me Out, maybe it's one of your favorite enemies in the game. You know what the nurses are. I'm not gonna lie, these nurses were creepy as fuck in this game. You know, from having the kind of like liquid sounding like gurgles, I guess to call them, from that to where you would, I guess, walk through a hallway, know that they're there, so you turn off your flashlight and try to sneak up behind them, and from that angle that you're looking at them at, they would just like stand still and just shake their head like this. It is weird. But it was so good. I loved it. And speaking of turning off your flashlights also, this game is dark as fuck. Now, the only other dark game I have played is Dead Space. Dead Space was pretty dark, but I have to let you know, Silent Hill was 10 times darker than Dead Space. It was insane. Now, at first, I was like, oh, this game's pretty bright. Let me turn down the gamma a little bit. Bro, even with the flashlight, I could not see 2 feet in front of me. I would hear enemies, hear their footsteps. I would not know where they were until they attacked me. It was ridiculously dark in this game, but it was amazing, and I loved it, and I wish more games would be that dark. Like, the darkness is a primal fear, if we're being honest, right? So why wouldn't you want your game to be dark? I thank you for giving us a flashlight, but bro, these hallways were dark, especially in the flipped version of the hospital. Shoot, even the hospital itself, both versions of the hospital, the labyrinth, especially the prison when you go into the courtyard. Bro, that was dark. I honestly thought there was an enemy there, and I'll get to that. But I deadass thought there was an enemy there because it was so dark I couldn't see anything in front of me. To go back on what I said about the prison, this is gonna help out this point that I'm bringing up. This game got progressively scarier the longer I played it, and it's not even because there was like more jump scares, but the settings added to the fear factor of this game. So we go from traveling the streets of Silent Hill, right? We go into the apartments, which wasn't bad. We got a couple of jump scares from the mannequins. Then we go into the hospital. Then we go into the prison. The prison, I would say the hospital is like right before the climax. The prison was the climax. That was one of the scariest places to be at, because they would have like light switches, and that didn't even help. And even when you did turn on the light switch, you would see like 4 to 5 like wall crawling mannequins just disperse once the lights came on. It was, bro, you can't replicate that. Silent Hill, 10 out of 10 right there. Going to the labyrinth, then to the hotel, that was a different feeling. I won't lie. That is a different feeling. The hotel was a little bit more the breath of fresh air, but it did get to a point like I was like, ooh, this is kind of creepy. I'm not going to hold you. But man, I was playing through this game, bro. And keep in mind, I wasn't dying. I was playing on the most normal difficulty. I just wanted to get a feeling for the game. I wanted to enjoy the game. That's what I should say, because I didn't want to put everything hard, puzzles on hard. I wanted to enjoy this game because this is something that's very near and dear to me. I love Silent Hill. But man, I was going the whole game. I thought I was going to go deathless until I died one time. I died one time my whole run, and it was because of Pyramid Head. I think it was that one fight in the labyrinth where you have to fight in this very skinny like corridor, and the more damage you do to him, I think it is, the longer the corridor gets, and you could like actually pass through. I was full health. I didn't expect one of his attacks to literally one-shot me. That's how I died. Other than that, I mean, I got the Maria ending. It's not my favorite, but it's something that I find interesting because essentially it shows that he's in a time loop. He accepts Maria as his replacement for Mary, and while they're walking away to the car to leave Silent Hill, she starts coughing, which is a symbol basically showing that she's going to die just like Mary did with her disease. And to finish it all, this guy says, you better go check up that cough, because he knows what's going to happen next. In a way, it kind of feels like he's in a time loop. And I know people like mention that they don't like time loops in like any pieces of media, but I'm not going to lie. That one was good. I like it. I don't know. I like time loop stuff. It's pretty cool. Like, think about Attack on Titan. That's pretty cool. Another thing I have to point out is the ending boss fight with Maria, Mary, whoever it was, at the end. I think it was Mary, and it was basically her turning into this like metal monster where she's like suspended into it. I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but when she was bedridden from her disease, right, she turned into this like very hateful person. The fact that they turned that into an enemy design to where she was literally suspended and stuck on her bed frame, and her bed frame turned into this like H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe type of monster, and was attacking us with the bed frame ends. That was a good enemy design. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but I thought it was pretty good to keep her suspended into the bed frame because she was bedridden from her disease. This game's puzzles was so good. Some of them I I couldn't get to. Like, there was the one box that spit the poison out. I didn't get to do that one, sadly. And I think there was one more I didn't get to. But man, these puzzles are so good in this game. The weight puzzle in the prison specifically, that one, I don't know. Listen, hear me out. I struggled a lot with that puzzle, but that's because I just didn't know the trick to it. I knew it has something to do with the gallows. So I was up there. I was like, I don't know. Where's the hint? Obviously, I found out what it was, but man, these puzzles are so good. I'm not gonna lie. Might be better than Resident Evil. Personally, though. Maybe I'm being biased, but I think they're better than the Resident Evil puzzles. Other than that, man, this is honestly the best remake I have played in recent memory. And honestly, I think out of all the remakes I've played, this is probably the best one. One of the most faithful ones. There has been some things that they changed from the original, I could just tell. But, man, I take this game over the Resident Evil 4 remake and the Dead Space remake any day of the week. Although, I don't think the Silent Hill 2 one is the most replayable out of the three, I still think it is the best. And this game is just so freaking good. I actually had to go watch the remake versions of the endings for myself because I was like, bro, even though I knew what would happen, I had to watch it for myself just to see what they look like remade. This game was just beautiful. I highly recommend this to anybody that would want to play it, and it just makes me want to play other horror games even more. So I think my next one might be Alan Wake 2. We'll see about that. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.